What's up everyone, Jonathan here from the French Canadian Studio. Hopefully everyone's going well. I'm going fantastic. Well, I guess this is for week 1 of quarantine done for me here in Canada. So there was an obligation for us to stop working. So basically now I'm trying to do as much as I can in Dementophobia. So if you would like to before I get started, this week I did a bit more on, I did design a mouse for the game. So basically just a mouse that's going to be like on desks and stuff in the game. And I sort of did finish the outside of not finish, there's still a couple of things I want to get done. But I sort of did the outside of the building, which you can see through windows. You probably won't be able to go outside in the game, but that's I'll see during development how I feel about that. So before I get into that, of course, you can go support me everywhere. French Canadian Studio, FRCan Studio over on Twitter, French Canadian Studio everywhere else, Instagram, FrenchCanadianStudio.com, and our ArtStation where you can see projects or post screenshots and stuff like that. Same thing as Instagram, but more of a professional portfolio on ArtStation. And of course, if you'd like to support the projects and all the future projects I'll be working on, you can do so at patreon.com/French Canadian Studio. Sort of blabbed that one out there, and you can get these devlogs early, usually 1 week early. You can get your name in the game, and you can get so many other things. Definitely go check out the Patreon to see all the relevant info for that. So let's get into it. Alright, so we start off this video with the mouse. So basically, I pretty much did a rough shape of the mouse. I based it off the colors of the mouse and the general shape I wanted. Like the mouse does look weird at the end. I might still modify it at the end, but this is the general model reference I'm using to do this, to make it look something like a mouse. And you'll see I did have a problem because a mouse is sort of look, almost wanting to say it's almost like an organic shape. So it's a bit harder to model more than I thought, since it doesn't actually have like straight edges except for the bottom of the mouse. So I did screw around. It did take me like an hour and a half just to get that. Then I did try to do sort of the different buttons on the mouse, but I was like, to what extent do I actually need it to be like specific? I did do the indent on the side, try to keep the face count down. That's one thing I sort of have to start thinking about a lot more, is basically making sure everything's as optimized as possible for the game, because I don't want it I want people with lower end devices to be able to play the game. So that's one thing I'm trying to work on to get it done. There probably will be a lot of adjustments. Just also if you understand game development, there's I'm trying to use trying to reduce the amount of textures I'm using, but we'll see what I'm able to do in the final version of the game, or once it gets along there. Hopefully I'll get it done for October. That's what I'm working on right now. I do have a lot more time. So yeah, right here what I'm trying to do is one thing I've been enjoying doing a lot lately is stencil painting, basically texture painting on the mouse, and it didn't really work out the way I wanted. It did look nice because the picture I was trying to use was like low quality. So what I did instead, I just split the parts into sort of the 2 different main sections and decided to color them from there. This would make it a lot easier, and I was able with that to adjust the lower the face count down a lot more. And then I added the wheel. Like I said, this item you won't see it as much as you think you will. Like most people probably won't even pay attention to this as much as I think they will. So yeah, so basically adjusting the color. Basically, mouse has a rubbery part, the black part, and then the grayish part's more of a polished plastic, not a polished plastic, but like a sort of a dull plastic looking color. So that's what I was trying to do. And then I re-optimized the top there to make it look more like a curvy flow to it. You saw at the beginning it didn't really look that nice. And yeah, that here I was trying to do sort of the cutout in the middle, like usually where the wheel is, there's like a sort of a cutout, but it always looked weird. I didn't want to screw with it because, like I said, it's one of those things where I really think nobody's going to notice it that much, so that's why I didn't want to actually waste too much time doing this, because I do still have a lot of assets, and some assets keep adding on. Like you'll see in the next part, the road wasn't something I was thinking about doing, and all those things, so you'll see it there. And then you'll see a final picture what it looks sort of in what a rendered setting. Of course, this is a rendered version, it's not the actual game. It does look a bit choppy. I'm happy with it for what it's going to be. So I'm here, this part I've never shown before, the outside, and I was watching a tutorial on how to blend materials together properly. You have Apache, so basically right here what you have is cement, sort of a pavement for parking, and then I decided I wanted to add like a muddy texture to it to make it look more realistic, like it's worn out. Oh, and once I did rebake the colors to the proper mesh instead of it trying to make it look right. So here I'm adding sort of a texture mixer to add a muddy texture to it. You'll see I'm trying to find it here. Oh yeah, and I added painting to it. That one, the painting part I did screw around a lot with it. So I did find these. A lot of cool sites. If you're a developer, you're getting started developing, definitely go find out all the free websites. If you want to know some of them, just ask in the comments or on Twitter and stuff like that. So this tutorial by Blender Guru, the very good Blender Guru on YouTube. That's how I learned how to use most of Blender. And yeah, I follow this tutorial how to blend material. Basically, add more patchy color to the cement, to the pavement, to make it look more realistic, and then add the mud. Of course, I had to readjust it because it was too big, but add sort of a muddy texture to it to make it look like it's actually like rain, dirt from accumulation from cars, and things like that. So once I got that down, I was like, okay, now I need to bake it. But I was like, oh wait, before I do that, I have to draw the line. So I removed that. I readjusted the shininess of it because it's pavement and dirt doesn't really. So yeah, I took the blend. It's still there, as you can see, but I wanted to add the lines, and I didn't want to add the lines over the mud. It wouldn't make sense. So I wanted to add it under the mud. So that's why on the original pavement, I just decided to add the. And I did screw around because for some reason I thought some of my proportions were off. And I at first, this is what I want. The concept I thought of was this, but I did change it after a while to just added 6 parking the other direction, and work from there because it looks so weird compared to the building. I almost had a crisis that I thought all my textures were off. And this is one thing with texture painting is if you're trying to use a high quality texture in a very small space, it doesn't like it as much. So it looked weird. I got to a point where I'm happy with it because I do something in Unity where the window's a bit blurry, so you won't necessarily see the textures. I'm trying to use like low res textures, so I don't have to worry about like rendering these high quality. And you see I screw around with it a lot. And yeah, basically at the end of the video I show you one thing I didn't show the video because my computer did crash because I was trying to render it for some reason, and it really didn't work out for me. And you'll see here it looks kind of weird when I think I opened up the building to see how it looks, and it doesn't look like here. It's like too thick for no reason. And I had the building right there. It looks so weird. The parking spots look like way too big compared to what I was doing. I was like, it doesn't work. So I decided to reconfigure it, try to use smaller lines. Yeah, that's where I think I rotated around and add because technically there should be 24 feet between parking spots. That's why I'm looking up here. It's like different dimension for parking because I thought my dimensions were off. At some point I do get it, and then like I said, that my computer crashed, so you didn't see me do the dirt texture, which I sort of use the same technique as the darker spots on the pavement. I use sort of the same technique, but use also a texture rotation and blurring, which is another cool add-on on the video you saw there from Blender Guru. It's if you guys want to check out Blender Guru, it's just how to minimize tiling and seamless textures, because you do see tiling when you zoom when texture is zoomed out for some effort because the eye catches easily. Anyway, he explains it better than me, so definitely go check it out. So right here I'm happy with the way it looks, the parking lot. Then I add the road in front, which you'll barely see from the windows, and the ground where I'll add trees and stuff like that and other little cool things. Then I stop here for some reason. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for this video. You'll see the final render at the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching. Of course, go follow me everywhere. Like I said, FRCan Studio on Twitter, French Canadian Studio everywhere else on Instagram, FRCan French Canadian Studio on FrenchCanadianStudio.com, and of course Patreon.com/French Canadian Studio, where you can get early access to these devlog and other nice little thing in game and all those things. So thank you so much guys for watching, and we'll see you next one. Keep on keeping on.